Okay, I know we tell ghost stories on here, but look, I have just come across the best business opportunity for the afterlife. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Keep watching, and I'll tell you all about it. Well, hello, my spooky friends. Welcome to or welcome back to Spooky Southern Tea. I may be calling it Dark Southern Tea. I'm kind of toying with that name, like tea brewed dark. Whatever. Scully says hi. There's Lizzie. And of course, we've got drunk Bob. Yeah, he still doesn't say much. He just kind of lays there passed out ever since Halloween. But, at least he's not annoying. Not that I think you're annoying, Scully. No, never. Anyway, I have some comments from you tonight, some stories that we didn't get to the other night during the live stream. So I want to share those with you. And in there, I went back to several months ago when we were talking about the afterlife. And look, there is a business opportunity to be had. I'm just saying. Always thinking. Now, this one comes from Nancy. I cannot believe Katrina told a story that is close to my heart. My husband died a month after turning 53. He wanted so badly to live, obviously, as we all did, but he had metastatic cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nancy. He died here in New Jersey, but we had bought a house in Florida 5 years prior in hopes of working at Disney World. I got a call from a family member who passed by the house while on vacation in Florida at the time he passed. And they told me my back sliding door was shattered on one side. Oh, wow. I flew down with my son the next day, called the cops, and when they checked it out, they said it shattered from the inside out. Nothing was touched in the house, nothing stolen. I always felt like it was my husband, so angry from dying so young and never getting to live full time in the house. Oh, wow. Well, Nancy, I think you could be right. Now, I'll just tell you, I would be ticked off. I would be very ticked off if I died and I had a house in Florida that I never got to live in and I didn't get to work at Disney and fulfill, those dreams. Like, I think I would get so mad. I just, yeah, maybe I would smash the door too. That's insane. What do y'all think? Because it was from the inside, but nothing was stolen. So explain that. Put your comments below. Tell me what you think it is. Okay, this next one comes from Helen T. I was checking out a big thrift antique store in our area that is in a big old barn. It was hotter than Hades. I say that. But they had lots of fans going, so the air was moving, but no AC. I had been looking around for a good while when the heat started to get to me, and I thought I was going to have to leave the house as I have congestive heart failure, and my heart is my kryptonite. I was trying to decide upon what to do when a cold blast of air hit me. It was wonderful. If I moved a foot in any direction, I stepped out of it, so I stayed in that spot until I felt better. It was like stepping into a freezer. I looked for the AC unit but found just a few fans, and the source of this was no fan. I was telling my daughter about it later, and she said, "Oh, you must have met George." She then explained to me that the owner told her that they had a resident ghost that they called George and that he was a helpful spirit. He was most helpful to me, and I appreciate his kindness. Well, I'll say that was very kind of you, George, and I'm sure Helen appreciated that. I wish, because I know what you're talking about. Like when it's hot, even when they have those fans on, it helps, but it really is like it just throws hot air around. It doesn't really get cool, so I get it. What's crazy though is standing in that spot so he knows he's a ghost and he's cooling you down. That is quite amazing. When it's really hot in here, my AC doesn't work very well either. I have said, y'all ghosts, Why don't you ever show up when it's 100 degrees in my room? Oh no. So I guess my ghosts are not that helpful. But thank you, George. Best ghost ever. And this one is by Linda Thomas. I have had my name called in my own voice, but a little off. The first time my son heard my voice calling his name in my parents' basement. He doesn't believe in anything but called me, which I was in a different state. He was scared and called me thinking I was dead or something. Okay, I get that. Like you're calling, but if you really think somebody's dead, do you think they're going to answer? I mean, I get it. Like you kind of do whatever you think to do, but like, yeah, they're not going to answer the phone. The second time, my other son heard me calling him in the same basement, saying same thing, different kid's name, saying come here. I was home when it happened, but nowhere near the basement. The last time I was in the basement and all of a sudden felt super uncomfortable, scared even. I heard my voice saying, "Linda, come here." It said it 3 times. It was my voice, but off a little. I said, "In the name of Jesus, I rebuke you." Then I ran as fast as I can up the steps, saying repeatedly, "In the name of Jesus, I rebuke you." It hasn't happened again, but my youngest son had kind of a sleep demon attack him. I woke up when it happened and knew something was wrong. I turned his light on, yelled for him. He was scared and said, "Mom, I tried to yell for you, and then you said my name, and the black shadow thing left." I told him to say Jesus' name, and if you can't say it, then say it in your mind. I absolutely agree, Linda. If you can't say it out loud, say it in your mind. Wow. The audacity, though, I'm thinking of this mimic spirit too. It's one thing to mimic your voice to your kids or to somebody else, but to yourself, like the very audacity of you to, in my own voice, "Hello, I'm right here." Like you think I don't know? Some ghosts just have the audacity. I don't know where they get it. It must be on sale. But what do y'all think? Yeah, I promised you about the business opportunity. Okay, think about this. This was months ago when I had someone talk to me about um talking about buying things for the dead or some kind of death notes. I don't know. Remember, y'all, if you've been watching this channel, you'll remember we had a couple of conversations about this, like preparations for the afterlife, right? And so we had someone from another country than the US, where I am, say that actually they do that. So then I got another comment, and listen to this. I'm just saying, I think we're doing it wrong here. And maybe, just maybe, there's a business op for somebody out there. This is by Jonathan Lowe. We go to the shop for the dead people to use real money to buy hell notes for the afterlife. They sell items like TVs, home, homes, handbags, headphones, and many other items. So, look, you could be all set up for the afterlife. Like, I guess you're gonna need a purse, a headphone, a TV. I don't know. Is that why ghosts just show up in people's houses and they're like, mess with their TVs, flip the channels, change the radio, turn the lights off and on? Is that why? Because nobody bought them anything for the afterlife and they're just like having to borrow or steal it? I mean, I'm just beginning to think, oh, okay, this is the reason that we have ghosts at all. We didn't prepare to send them out. So there they are in the afterlife with nothing, starting from scratch. And they're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to stick around here and make myself a home. Might as well. So I'm just saying, maybe we should take better care of our ghosts. Who knew? Buying hell notes. So my I think that's funny. Like we're just assuming they're going to hell. I don't know. Do people even need heaven notes? Probably not. You probably don't need anything in heaven. But if you don't think your relatives are going to go, you may want to start a hell note store. I'm just saying. Might be big business. I mean, it works other places. Don't miss your opportunity. I am actually going to lol if somebody starts a store here in the States. I mean, it's going to be hilarious. And I think, it could be successful. Anyway, let's go on. Okay, so this one is by Allison Kitchens. Oh, wow. The story about the papa who wanted to see his baby truly moved me. My granny passed away suddenly when I was 2.5. The memories I have of her are just snapshots, really. My daddy once told me the following story. A few weeks after Granny passed, my family went to Granny's house to help my papa do some things in the house. Mama and my Aunt Carolyn went to town to do some shopping. Daddy stayed home to keep me. Granny was my mama's mother. Daddy said I was really fussy and he laid down with me to try to get me settled. It wasn't working well. Daddy said he heard the back screen door open and slam shut, then heard the floor creaking like somebody was walking. Daddy said he immediately knew it was Granny, as she had a distinct footfall. He said he never saw Granny, but he felt her as she came into the bedroom. He said I settled down immediately and went to sleep. Daddy said he had never seen anyone soothe a baby the way Granny could. This is a special story for me and helps me feel connected to Granny, even though my memories of her are few. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. Yeah, it's amazing to think that maybe people hang around in the afterlife to soothe babies, and maybe babies can actually see. We've talked about how kids and pets seem to be able to see things that we can't when we become adults and more cynical, I guess. But what do y'all think? I mean, my kids were so fussy when they were babies. I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it for the win. Just calm down. Calm down. But it's funny how she said that there was a certain footfall, a certain pattern that sounded like Granny. So who is to say that Granny is not out there still watching over kids from time to time? You don't know. Neither do I. Okay, this next one is by, I think this is Mary Purisoli. Am I saying that right? Hi, Silky. I'm glad to see you post about haunted schools. I love haunted schools. I wish more people told haunted school stories. I taught at one and no one ever believed me, especially my principal. The ghost in my classroom wasn't a child, but a man. Whenever I stayed late to change things in my classroom, he would whisper my name in my ear and my cheek would feel ice cold. Oh, I don't like that. If I played music he liked, the lights would flicker. And at the end of the day, my cell phone would be dead. After I quit teaching there, my ghost friend wasn't happy. He started throwing things, and the worst part is he would scream F bombs. What? I guess the principal thought an exorcism was needed. I always talk nice to the ghost. He just wanted a friend. So wait, at the end, okay. After I quit teaching there, my ghost friend wasn't happy. He started throwing. So after you left, how do you know? Okay, who heard the F bombs? I don't understand. And who saw him throwing things if you weren't there? So I guess it was bad enough that the principal thought the school needed an exorcism. And that's so weird. Like, why is a man hanging out there? Was there a teacher that had passed away? Like, who is this man just hanging out in your classroom and like touching your cheek and it's cold and ooh, like, no, again, y'all know how I feel about these ghosties and touching. No touching, ghosties. That's a no. No, 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 no. Just no. Boundaries. But yeah, that's very interesting. If the principal didn't believe you before, then I assume he is believing you afterwards. But I want to know who this man is. Did you, Mary, have any idea of who you thought it was, or did anybody seem to know that of somebody that maybe used to work there or around there that might be haunting the school? I just think it's strange. So, yeah, I'd want to know who it was. And if you're a teacher out there that teaches in a haunted school, or a worker of some kind in a school, put it down in the comments. I would love to share your stories. There is something, like I said, about schools that are old and empty, abandoned, or just not used. There's a lot of creepiness. So I think there's a lot of stuff that lingers in schools. But it's just my opinion. Okay, this one is by Anna Abramson. I used to vacuum at our high school. I used to vacuum. Okay, it's getting late. I used to vacuum at our high school, and we moved into the new one. Our superintendent once was the principal. He always had a plan for this new school. It was his dream goal. He was well loved. Other districts wanted him, but he chose to stay. One day in March, he attended a superintendent's conference in Madison and suffered a heart attack and passed. Oh, so they canceled school. The wake was at that school. We were cleaning to get ready and we saw a mist go through his school. Well, I'm going to say no doubt it was him. Um, yeah, those mists, people, spirits often do show up like that in misty, whether they're gray or black or whatever. But, yeah, I don't think for 1 minute, if he was that attached to his school, that he didn't come and make a last pass through there. I mean, he might have even hung around for a while, who knows? Absolutely. That is sad, though, especially when somebody is, got so many plans, and I feel like it's unresolved business. So I wouldn't be surprised if he hangs around a little. Okay, this is from Maya. My latest no, and we're talking about knowing those premonitions, right? Was me waking up one morning and thinking out loud that someone I used to date is deceased. I looked him up on Facebook and figured out that he had passed away the day of the last time I looked him up for years prior. I remembered people on his page frantically looking for him. I went the entire day wondering how I didn't realize back then that something was wrong. He'd lost a lot of weight, and that evening I looked at a picture of his headstone and realized it was 4 years to the day that he had passed away. Now, you know, I think that we are, again, very in tune with each other as a big. I hate to get like real cosmic, but we kind of are. When you have those feelings, I cannot tell you how many times I have been thinking of someone, and I mean somebody that I haven't thought of in years, and all of a sudden I run into them, or I get a phone call, or I see something, somebody brings them up and says, "Hey, did you hear about so and so?" It's like you, even if it's a week or 2 before, "Hey, Sachi." Like, it just seems like we are so connected that once we have any kind of thoughts, like pleasant feelings, I hope it's mostly just pleasant feelings about somebody, that they tend to show up in our feed, or we hear something about them, or we see them. Like, I don't think that's coincidence. So the fact that you're thinking about somebody and, like, you just have this feeling he passed away, yeah. That really doesn't surprise me at all. Again, I feel like we are way more connected than we even want to believe that we are. So thank you for sharing that. And this one is from Gary. From the tales my sister has told me, that cat sounds just like the one she used to have. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, I think this is the exorcism cat. Maybe she should have had him exorcised. I'll have to send her the clip. I don't know if that was AI. I think it might have been, but it was hilarious. I would like an opinion from all those here who have had paranormal experiences. Okay, so let's all join on this one. I think I may have had one. I'm not sure, and I would like some feedback. My little brother died back in August. A couple of weeks after he died, I was getting ready for bed and my right arm felt like cobwebs were brushing against it. I don't have any cobwebs, so that wasn't what caused it. It only happened the one time. If a ghost touches you, does it feel like cobwebs, or am I just hoping that my brother stopped by to say hello? I can only answer for myself, so I very much encourage others to put down in the comments what you think and give Gary some answers. Um, I think when we feel, I have felt that like cobwebs, it's when you know there's nothing there, um, you kind of do know that you have felt something otherworldly. Some people talk about cold spirits, and I've experienced some of that, but to be honest with you, most of the time, I don't experience ghost or paranormal activity as cold. I have gone into places that are haunted or they say are haunted, and I have walked into a cold spot, so I very much know what you're talking about when people say that. But for myself, for this house, for most of the paranormal, I have never felt cold. Um it would be more like cobwebs, something that touches you, and I have felt very real touches, though, like literal touches on my body that feel like hands. That's always interesting, to say the least. But sometimes, yes, it is that little brush, and if you thought of your brother, maybe it is. I'm not saying it definitely is or it isn't. It seems like you did have maybe some kind of brush with something supernatural, but I would also say to hold on because, okay, it may not be true, but in my thinking, once we cross over, there's got to be a lot to learn. Like, we don't know how to do stuff. Like, there's a whole new world. Okay. It's a whole new situation for us. And unless we are just determined to stick around and do something, I think it's a while before we think about coming back and checking on people. I got to be in orientation for a while. Okay. But I feel like if it is your brother, I think that you will have some further experiences, and that may not be till much later down the line, but I think you'll know in time. And I wouldn't stress about it right now. Just think, it could be. Keep an open mind and just see what happens. But y'all, please tell me in the comments or tell Gary what you think. Okay, we have time for one more, and that's it. Okay, this is from Jeanette Chavez. Those were good stories. I agree. When it suddenly gets quiet, just leave. Okay, we're probably talking about Appalachia here. When I was a kid, I used to ride my bike to the ditch, and down by the river, there's a bike path. I used to try to go through as fast as I could just for fun. And when I would stop, I would to get my breath and sit for a bit. Suddenly, it would get real quiet, and this overwhelming feeling I'm being watched. Sometimes I would hear a noise and I wouldn't see anything. It sounded like footsteps in the leaves coming towards me. I would freak out and find a quicker way. I would freak out and find a quicker way out onto the ditch and race home. I like scary stories, but I don't like being in one. Have a great night. Yeah, that definitely sounds like an Appalachian experience. And I will say this, when you have that feeling, a lot of times I think personally, now it could be any number of things, but I think most likely when you get that feeling of being watched, to me, I'm going to say I think it's a Sasquatch. There are probably more than we think there are. And that's kind of been my experience. I've never seen a dog man. I don't think I want to. I've heard all kind of stuff, so I don't know, how close I've been to a Wendigo or any of those things, or Whistler, whatever in the heck. But I definitely feel like when you're being watched, and it is creepy. Very creepy because you don't know, is it a person or is it a thing? And I honestly don't know which one is worse. But thank you for sharing that story. I 100% believe that. But being from Appalachia, I already know. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget to send me your stories. The link is below. A lot of you like the TikToks. A lot of you just like the letters and the comments. So if you want me to do more of that, then you have to send me some stuff. All right. Have a great week. Stay safe out there. Whatever you do, just stay spooky. Bye bye.